Hey there,
Hi.
Mark and Michelle, making a video for y'all.
On this Memorial Day weekend.
It's Sunday, Memorial Day. Um, just a shout out to all the troops and people that have served for our country and for our freedom. Just want to say thank you
Yes.
from the bottom of our hearts. But today, I wanted to talk a little bit about ego, EGO.
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 We don't have any of that.
Let go of my ego. Yeah, we do. Now what got me thinking about it was I was listening to an Earl Nightingale. It's an audiobook, and he was talking about people that are in jobs that have been in jobs for 30 years, and all of a sudden life happens and a plant shuts down, right, and people are out of work, and they're freaking out. They're like, what am I going to do? This is all I know. There's nothing else. And they were not prepared for life, for what might happen. You never know. And it just got me thinking about my situation. And a lot of these videos we've been talking about how Mark worked for 21 years, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, which is true. All of it's true. But all of a sudden the job was gone, and this is a job that I don't know how many times I told people, well, I have job security. I'm not worried about it. They're not going to fire me. I know too much.
Even the vice presidents would come to him for information. So
how to use the system, because I had taught myself the system. I was the expert. They needed me. Well, guess what? I'm no longer working there, and they're doing just fine. And I have no hard feelings. Stuff happened. But my ego got in the way. My ego was the reason that I'm not working there anymore. My ego was telling me that I don't have to follow the rules, that I can do, pretty much what I want, when I want, because I was the boss. And all of a sudden, I'm jobless. I had a hard time finding a job.
that's a big blow to the ego right there.
Right. And, but Earl Nightingale was talking about these people that they were crying and moaning and saying this was my life, and his question to them was, why was that your life? Why were you dedicating 12, 14 hours a day to something that was not part of your why? Right.
That's
I'm
a good
talking
question.
about. It was a good question, and I couldn't have answered that a year ago. And but today I could see that doing that, you're the old saying, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. No matter how secure you feel in a job working for somebody else, there's always that possibility, always that chance that something's going to happen. And then what?
That's the big question.
Right.
And then what?
And then what? And it took us a long time to figure out our and then what. We found an opportunity that we can actually work for ourselves, work on ourselves, and work for ourselves. Because unless God has other plans, we're not going to go away. This job is there as long as we work it, as long as we're willing to do what it takes to get the job done, to
remove our egos.
Right, to listen, to become teachable.
Mm-hmm.
The other phrase that I like about humility is that the definition of humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that, because I was always thinking about me first. It was always me first. I like to pretend, or I like to think that I wasn't when when my ego was that big. My humility was that little, but it was always about me. I was working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, just bringing home a paycheck. Meanwhile, this one, she likes to call me that, so this one was home, taking care of the family, taking care of the bills, taking care of everything else, and that wasn't fair to her, but I didn't see it because I was doing my job.
Well, I'd like to say that his 12 to 16 hour days, 6 to 7 days a week, were half by choice.
Yeah.
His ego had gotten so big that, by everybody higher ups coming to him for the information that only he knew,
I created that.
he created it. And he had gotten so accustomed to working and not being at home that he felt more comfortable at work than at home.
That was my comfort zone.
And then with me, I was stuck with the house and the kids and the finances and all the decisions and everything like that. And I know that I did not make some very good decisions. I was also very selfish in my ego and the fact that, I had control of everything and I was the decision maker and I wasn't the parent or the wife that I could have been either. And so my ego got in the way as well. So the ego can get in the way of many things, and we have to keep ourselves in check to make sure that our humility, thinking of ourselves less, is done more than the pride, the ego way of thinking. I hope that made sense.
It made sense. The other little phrase, catchphrase, they say ego, E-G-O, that stands for easing God out. When I start thinking that my way is the best way, instead of talking to my higher power, who I call God, you call it whatever you want, but as soon as I'm making decisions based on self, the ego inflates, humility deflates, and in my case, everything goes haywire. So, we just wanted to touch base. With y'all and talk about ego. It came up this morning. I was listening to the audio book, and I came home and I said, "I have an idea for a video." And she said, "Okay." She said it didn't say it like that, but that's all I got on ego. You got anything else?
Yeah, I think we covered most of it.
Hopefully, you're having a wonderful holiday weekend.
And again, thank you for your service if you were in the
thank you very, very, very
services.
much.
All right.
And we will talk to you soon.
Peace.